Good afternoon, garden friends. Today we're doing two things. I ended up getting these daffodils when I made my trip up to Growers Outlet, because one of the things that I wanted to do was to be able to do up some terracotta pots to put in the courtyard, because a lot of my daffodils that I had planted, and then the tulips that are in the Vigo raised bed, I wanted to add a little more color and layering in that area. So today I'm going to get these pots potted up, and then I want to be able to show you guys what the courtyard looks like. I am just loving how it is looking. Now, while I am going to be planting up the daffodils, I'm also incorporating some violas, so that as the daffodils end up dying back, I'll still have the greenery because I won't cut them down, but I'll also be able to have color. And these guys are, I believe, yellow and white. This is called Fortune Daffodil. And then I also have some Obdam daffodils. And I'll put the colors of them up on the screen. But then I think with the purple, and then I also got the yellow violas that I'm going to be putting in the pots. Now this is the thing. These pots that I have, aside from one, I got them all off of Marketplace. So I'm really excited, to be able to have the different terracotta pots, to have them lined up in an area on the courtyard. And I think it'll just tie in that feeling that I have created in the courtyard area. So let's go ahead and get these guys potted up. It's still drizzling, but I'll still be able to show you the courtyard once I get these guys done. And I got 2, 4, 6 of them. A couple of them, because the pots are smaller, I'm going to split them up. So, and then this is the thing. Probably in the fall, I might end up taking them out of the pots and planting them elsewhere in the garden. Oh, I gotta take some of that off. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and break these up. And then what I don't use, I will plant elsewhere in the garden. Then put some of the violas in. As you guys know, anytime I do plants in a pot, I try to take off a portion of the roots so that they have room to grow. Purple and yellow, and it'll just scream spring. Put these guys back just a little bit, and then when you see the courtyard, guys, I've adjusted, because the squirrels are literally driving me crazy, because I like to see ground. I see where they've dug up in the beds. So I'm thinking, if I trick myself by packing that area, I won't see where the squirrels have dug in. I know it's kind of crazy, but I think these will look really pretty to add that pop of color on the courtyard. Okay. And no, I'm not going to put any on the back. I just want it in the front because of how I'm going to have these guys sitting. Yeah, I think that's going to look really pretty in the courtyard. And the good thing is these aren't going to get like direct sun. Um, so I think that'll end up being a good form. All right, guys, let me just go ahead and get the rest of these done. And then we're going to go and do a walkthrough of the courtyard garden. All right, so this is the bed that before we go into the courtyard that I have my strawberry vanilla hydrangeas right here. That is my waigili that I cannot wait until that blooms. And then my roses. Like I said, all of these guys were de-leafed, but we had the good weather and then they leafed out, and then we had the freezing weather. But then I have my swoop of daffodils in here. That is my salvia sage. This here is a ground cover phlox. Oh, and then I got two Annabelles here. So that when this bed is in full bloom, it just accentuates the courtyard. Okay, so it's stopped raining. It's still drizzling a little bit, but just want to be able to show you the courtyard, how well my, what is that, thyme is growing. And I think that has like the red flowers. My hyacinths are coming up. That is my Bobo, my Madame Trousseau rose bush. Now these guys were de-leafed already, and that's just new growth on there. And my snapdragons, and then you can see I got tulips. And then what I did, because like I said, I can't stand that the squirrels be digging in here. So some of the liriope I put in here so that it'll fill in, and maybe I won't see where they're digging at. But this bed is looking really, really nice. And then my tiered planter, those up there are chrysanthemums. Because of the frost we had, I had to go ahead and get the damaged flowers cut off, but you know, they'll end up blooming again. And then the raised bed that have the ornamental cabbage, some more chrysanthemums, dusty millers, and my Juno grass. Now, I am just waiting for the tulips that I planted in here to come up. And I figured with the cold weather that we had for a lengthy period of time, maybe those guys will come up. I know I probably planted a good, 50 to 75 in there. And then guys, look at this. My jasmine is growing and budding. That just looks so nice. I wanted to get a closer look at these. It is doing so nice. And they are all over the vine. And boy, will it bring the hummingbirds galore. And later on in the season, I'll end up putting an annual in there. That's a viola that just didn't do as well as this one did over here. But I think when this ends up filling in, it is going to look so nice. Now that here is my mini rose. And that it's pink with white insets. And then a lot of this stuff was here when we did the courtyard, you know, but it's doing really nice. I'm looking forward to my nepeta that I have in the pots to do well, and my drift roses, And then this here, I so love this. This is that Arctic jasmine that is a ground cover. And you see the tricolor in the summertime. That is what this will be blended all with. And these guys were really little when I got, and my goal is for them to connect, so I keep working with them. And then this bed here just has some more of my hyacinths that are coming up. Got some violas in here. I cleaned up my yarrow. My snapdragons are doing good. And then I also have a balm that is starting to come up. But I ended up having to cut that back really hard because of the frost. But I got new growth on it. And then another one of my yarrow. And then this here is my Easy Spirit rose. And I'll put that photo up. And as you guys know, I mimic things. So this pretty much has the same flowers that's in the other bed. And I think my daffodils are going to look really pretty here. In that pot is my fig vine. It looks bad, but it comes back for me every year and twines up the arch. So I'm looking forward to that coming together. And then over here, I did add some new things, or I'm working on adding some new things. I had some amenities in the pots, but they didn't seem to do too good over here. So I'm going to take those out and put them elsewhere. But my goal is to put in some ground covering phlox in here, because I'd like it to trail all through this area. And then for, not only winter interests, but some beautiful flowers. These are the Lenten roses that I also got from Growers Outlet. Roses all de-leafed. And I was really happy with how my heuchera was doing over here. But I cleaned that up. Those are foam flowers. I think they're going to be okay. Because I see new growth down in there, but the freeze really got it. This here is my Annabelle. And then guys, look at my Delphine. This is going on its second year here. And then I have my ferns back here. I had them in the ground, but like over in this area, but it was just too much sun, even though this hardly gets any sun. And then that is my Eclipse, which I'm hoping is going to do well, because you can see the buds. Let me focus that. The buds got damaged, but even if I just have the greenery, the leaves on it is beautiful. And I think when everything comes into bloom, especially the roses, because those are pink and red, this area is just going to be bursting with color. And if you guys saw the garden tour that I was in 24, the roses were just breathtaking. And then probably next weekend, my two dappled willows. I'm going to do a hard cut on those guys. Usually towards the end of February, beginning of March is when I want to be able to cut those back so that I can see where the bulbs are swelling. But guys, I'm really happy with how the courtyard is looking. While I may not have color, wait till you see it come middle March, April, I'll say. To have the greenery and the roses and hopefully the tulips in the raised bed. I so love this view when I walk into the backyard and just how everything just complements each other. All right, garden friends. While today was about, getting my containers done with some spring color and then being able to show you guys the area around the courtyard. That's the beauty of as we go into spring, being able to see the garden come to life. And like I said, while it may not have a lot of color, I can envision what this garden is going to look like when everything starts to fill in. Well, thank you again for visiting Inspiring Garden Corner, and I hope you get a chance to get into your garden. Have a great day.